Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, we're going to be breaking down a little bit of what happened last night, talking, just what went on around the game. Also breaking down what we can look forward to. As you know, in the first class, this is where we jump into the pitching for each slate. Now, I'm going to start how I normally do, going over on Twitter, man, and just, every day I drop the tweet where I say, hey, who is going to be the gang stack of the night? That's what I ask. First things first. That's what I do. All right. So, and then I've got something funny that I want to show you that took place today. So when we ask who's going to be the gang stack of the night, I put out 4 options, and either I like the team that was in this graphic or I like the team that was against them. So we had the Chicago Cubs, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Miami Marlins, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers won this particular graphic, and they should have, man, because they went out and had probably the best night. They had the best night out of all of the teams involved. So we saw a lot of runs from the Dodgers, man. It was a really great game for them. The game is actually still going on. Clayton Kershaw, was not what what a lot of people thought that he would be today. It most certainly happened to be Corey Kluber, who, that game was in such a people were in such a panic for that game to even play, for the simple fact that it had so much rain concerns and weather concerns involved in that game, where the ownership on Kluber was at like 12%. I guess people that had Kluber were like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to pay up for Clayton Kershaw and be done with it, because I saw Kershaw 30 to 40% owned in most GPPs that I was in. Now I did roll out 7 or 8 lineups. He was in I think 2 of them. I had no Kluber. I took just about everything I had invested. The only guy that I left in a couple of lineups that I didn't even mean to leave in was Ramirez from Cleveland, and he had a really good one. So Chris Gray says Kluber brought him to the money. Awesome. If you had the stones to leave him in there, man, he definitely paid dividends for you. Definitely. So, and this is something funny I want to show you. Okay, so every day I hit up Bovada. I love Bovada. It's a really solid site. I do most of my parlay betting and things of that nature on there, and that's what I play, the parlay bets, right? So, by the way, happy Father's Day to all the dads. I didn't tell happy Father's Day. So, the wife and kids and I, we're riding back from Maryland. I'm going to go see my dad, spend the weekend with him in Maryland, had a really great time, right? So, on the way back, I'm like, yo, I'm listening to all the podcasts, disagreeing with what everybody is saying, because that's what I do. And so I'm making my little parlay bet. So normally I pick 5 or 6 teams, 4, 5, or 6 team parlay on Bovada. But it was such a long ride, man. I had so much time to really think and get into some of the games that I ended up making an 11-game parlay. Yeah, I said I'm gonna throw a dollar at it and see what happens, right? So I make this 11-game parlay. Now, as you can see, I lost the entire parlay. But take a look at this, okay? So I picked the Cleveland Indians to beat the Orioles. Good. I picked the Marlins to beat the Nationals. Okay, good. I picked the Cincinnati Reds to beat Tampa Bay. I took the underdog in that game. Good. 1. I picked the Atlanta Braves as an underdog to beat the San Francisco Giants. Okay, good. I picked the Pittsburgh Pirates to beat the Milwaukee Brewers. Okay, good. I picked the Chicago Cubs to beat the Padres. Wait a minute now. Now we're rolling. Something might be able to happen here. This might do something. Hey, I don't know. Oh. I picked the Toronto Blue Jays to beat the Texas Rangers. Oh, wait a minute now. Oh, wait a minute now. That's 7, 8 games in a row. You know what I'm saying? Look at these motherfuckers right here. The Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox. Ruined a potential 500 times my $1 buy-in with a sorry ass Mitch Moreland, taking it all the way to the track to tie the games up. The Red Sox got me. And it don't stop there. Check it out. Houston Astros. I took them. It's void now, but they're winning the game. I'm probably going to win this game, right? I took the Dodgers. They're going to win this game. An 11-game parlay, bro. Almost a clean sweep. And the Boston Red Sox. I'm a Yankees fan. I knew better than to pick the motherfuckers, man. I'm a Yankee man. I knew better than to pick them sorry son of a bitches. Jackie Bradley hit a 2-run shot, the homie from South Carolina. Thank you, Jackie Bradley. But Mitch Moreland, the rest of y'all bum-ass motherfuckers couldn't do nothing. Benintendi tripled in the top of in the bottom of the 8th. Tripled. Top of the 8th. I was livid because I knew that if Boston won this game, they some motherfucking snowflakes. Hey, I gotta bring it back from basketball. Tonight, Boston, y'all a motherfucking snowflake with y'all snowflake ass. How the fuck? I'm talking about, and imagine if, the reason why I'm not like extremely pissed and like want to hurt somebody is because I threw a buck on it, man. I threw $1 on it. I was like, yo, I throw in $1, see what happens. And I could have won $505. Imagine if I'd have threw $20 on this. You know what I'm saying? How much would that have been? Like 10 grand. Oh my God, bro. Damn, that sucked, man. That was gut wrenching. Cause all the early games I was just getting them right. Bim, 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 bim. Sucked, man. Sucked. Now I hope the Dodgers lose. Then I ain't gonna be completely mad. But tonight, Boston, y'all some motherfucking snowflakes with y'all snowflake ass. Let's get on with the rest of the motherfucking show. Right. Now, we do have a 15-game MLB slate on deck for today. First pitch will be going out at 7:05. That's a ton. That's a ton of games. And the first thing I'm gonna tell you, man, is ownership don't matter. Doesn't matter. Ownership does not matter, right? Especially individual player ownership. What I want you to focus your thinking on is stack ownership at this point. Like how owned are guys going to be in terms of team stacks? Because that's how we rocking. We're rolling out stacks, okay? Shout out to the homie Dylan Zink, man. You know, he the resident Dodgers enthusiast. Gossett had a good game against Houston, even though that game's still playing. He was doing well. I mean, he's only 4.2. He's the price of a batter. So also, you had the Dodger bats just go ham. So that was nice. That was nice. Good game from the Dodgers, man. So we do have the 15 games here. We're going to open it up. We are here in RotoQL. I'm going to switch over and default to the season average projections as I do not want to give away any of their paid content. This is strictly for the basis of having an easy way to outline the games and talk about those with ease. Let's go ahead, man, and jump right in. We've got the Cleveland Indians and the Baltimore Orioles is going to be the first game on tap. We've got a pretty nice point total here for the Indians. 6.3 is the projected point total here. 5.2 for the Orioles. You see the money line is at -136 as opposed to the 123. We got 9-mile-per-hour winds out here in Camden Yards. 43% humidity. There's a 0% chance of rain, and 84 degrees is going to be the temperature there. I think we've got Josh Tomlin and Chris Tillman on the mound. Let's go ahead and be sure. I like to check over on DraftKings just to make sure that we have the correct guys. Tomlin, Tillman, yes, is where we are. Now, taking a look at Josh Tomlin, 6.3 is going to be the price there on him. 15, -6, 16, and 27 in his last 4 starts. A couple of them was against Kansas City when they weren't really hitting very well. Then he had that 15-point game against the Dodgers, but the White Sox lit him up. I think this is going to be a spot here, an 11-point total, where I'm not going to want to involve myself in any of the pitching in this game. I really think, now Josh Tomlin, and much like the rest of the Cleveland Indians pitchers, man, he throws a really nasty curveball. But these are guys that, typically love to hit breaking balls. We look at the Baltimore Orioles here. So I'm going to have some invested in these guys. We just saw them run up the total over the weekend, so we know the bats can come alive at any given moment. I think we see a fair amount of runs in this game. There is an 11-run total already set in place for it. So, yeah, I think, yeah, Brad, you're completely correct. Both of these guys, in my opinion, can get smacked around in this contest, so I will not be focusing on any of the pitching here. If as we get the batting orders later on into the day, and we get into the line drive at 5, that's where we'll go in individually, team by team, and really break down the plays that we like from each team and go over some stacks. The next game we got is going to be my New York Yankees at the crib. Finally, we're back at Yankee Stadium with 11-mile-per-hour wind, baby. Now is the time to stack the Yankees again. You see, you got Parker Bridwell at 4.6, going against Michael Pineda at 10.6. Let's take a look here and make sure these are the correct gentlemen we have. Correct. Now's the time to stack the Yankees, baby. 11-mile-per-hour wind going out toward left field. This does favor the right-hand batters for both teams, but most notably for a lot of my New York Yankees. I imagine they would be very priced up. Yes, you can see Aaron Judge at 5.4, Hicks 4.1. So these guys are going to be fairly priced up. But I'm telling you, on a 15-game slate, you can find pitching that's going to allow you to stack the Yankees. I think the Yankees should be the leading stack on this slate, as they should be. We've got Michael Pineda here, 10.6, very solid pitching option against a Mike Troutless Los Angeles Angels. 0.9 is his last start against the Angels at home, so of course he's going to want to have a better showing. 32 against Boston, -4 against Toronto, 19, 22, 16 in his last 6 starts. So up and down he's been. And I think that, it's going to be tough to play him and play a lot of the Yankees bats, so you're going to have to make a choice there, and I would choose to play a lot of the Yankees bats, although Pineda is still going to be in play for me. Parker Bridwell at 4.6, man, that's just super cheap. I can't do it. 14.7 is his only start of the season against the only action of the season against the Atlanta Braves. But I just can't do it. I'm not gonna play that guy against the Yankees when they get back home, man. I'm just not, man. 11-mile-per-hour wind. It's gonna be a game for the batters, man, most certainly. Next game we got is gonna be the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. We got Mike Leake at 7.7 and Jeremy Hellickson at 5.2. I've been kind of a fan of Mike Leake this season, man. He's had some fairly solid games, and there was a stretch during the season from the beginning to about here against the Dodgers where he just had been playing very well, and we've seen some regression come, most certainly, man. Had a couple of tough starts. One in particular was the last one against Milwaukee, man. They kind of lit him up, and he was priced at 6.8, but now he is 7.7, so he took a very bad beating and then got priced up. Now, what we do know is the Philadelphia Phillies bats do wake up when they go home at Citizens Bank Park with 10-mile-per-hour wind. That's going to kind of take me off of Mike Leake in the spot, and I don't love Jeremy Hellickson. Let's take a look at both teams to see where they sit as far as K rates. Now, the Philadelphia Phillies are 5th in the league in K rate, 24% here, 128 ISO with a 285 WOBA. They have not been hitting the ball very well over the last few days. This is the last 14 games, actually. Now, and we got the Cardinals, man. They're fairly disciplined at the plate. Looking at a 19.5% K rate, 205 ISO, which has been really nice with a 345 WOBA. So I'm going to draw my attention to some of those St. Louis Cardinals bats, especially if we still got Matt Carpenter batting at the top of the order. He is pretty much an auto play for me if we see him batting at the top of the order the way he had been over recent games. The next game we got is another one with the Washington Nationals and the Miami Marlins. We got Gio Gonzalez and Anderson Volquez. Now, Volquez was supposed to start yesterday. They stopped, put in Nicolino. We attacked Nicolino with the Washington stacks. Didn't come out as well as I initially planned. It looked like it was going to start out as an all-out route, but I knew that the Miami Marlins were a scrappy team and were going to want to play well. They did just that. Don't love to play the Miami left-handers against left-handed pitching, even though they're not like bottom of the league in that, but it's just so many lefties that we're going to see here for the Miami Marlins that the guys that I'm going to focus my attention on are going to be guys like Marcelo Zuna and Giancarlo Stanton for the most part. I definitely think that we can play some of the left-handers for for the Miami Marlins. For the Washington Nationals without question. Gio Gonzalez at 9.6. I don't love him in this spot. I really don't. I don't love Anderson Volquez as well. 9-run total here. There's 0% chance of rain, 14-mile-per-hour wind in the dome. So I'm just not really loving. I'm not really loving the pitching aspect of this game as well. The next game we got the Cincinnati Reds and the Tampa Bay Rays. We got Amir Garrett and Alex Cobb. I love to attack Amir Garrett. The problem is, man, he's a left-hander, and the Tampa Bay Rays, man, they do not hit left-handed pitching very well. Now, that's going to bring me to guys like Evan Longoria, who I didn't play yesterday, but I'm going to play him today. Guys like Steven Souza Jr., I'm going to like Tim Beckham. Give me some of the righties in this spot. Definitely give me some of the righties in the spot. I love to attack Amir Garrett at 5.4. Looking over his last few games, had a decent one against San Diego, which we expected against San Diego. 0.45 against the Dodgers, -14 against Atlanta, -3.5 against Cleveland. So the dude has been getting knocked all around the yard, man. So there's no issue playing guys against him. Alex Cobb at 7.1 is kind of interesting to me. He kind of interests me. He does. Now, am I saying, you can't play the Cincinnati guys? Probably. Stay tuned. Jump into the line drive at 5. You're going to get into that some more. Now, remember, we do have a 9-run total in this game, so we could see some runs scored as Tampa Bay is the home favorite in this spot. The next game we got is the San Francisco Giants and the Atlanta Braves. Now, I hope you got some of that R.A. Dickey in you because we talked about him in the line drive at 5. I actually had quite a few lineups with him there in my lineups yesterday. So, Julio Teheran at 7.9. Not a guy that I like to play at all, really. But look at the starts, man. 17, 13, 17, 21.9. He had that big game against Toronto with a -13.25. But, aside from that, man, he's had a pretty decent season so far. He really has. And I think, it's time that we give him a little bit more consideration at 7.9 against the San Francisco Giants, a team that is just bad right now. They're just not hitting the ball. And you think with that much talent, man, when they get to escape their home park and get to go somewhere that's more hitter-friendly, they would just go crazy. But no. That's not what's happening. That is not what's happening. And they've been fairly disciplined at the plate. I mean, they don't strike out a ton. 28th in the league in K rate at 17.13. 17.3. 161 ISO with a 339 WOBA. So they have not been horrible, in certain aspects of the game. But, man, today they just look bad. They look bad. R.A. Dickey made them look bad. And a lot of that was due to the knuckleball, man. This catch just could not hit the knuckleball. So Julio Teheran is going to get some consideration from me here in the spot. And of course, no Matt Moore. I'm not playing Matt Moore. I'm going to attack Matt Moore with some of those Atlanta bats, most assuredly. The next game we got is the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers. We got Zach Davies at 6.5 and Chad Kuhl at 4.7. Yo, I'm going to say something crazy. Let's go ahead and check out on DraftKings. Make sure this is the... Yeah, I'm going to say something crazy, man. But Kuhl at 4.7 kind of interests me, man. He had 8, 12, 11 in his last 3 starts. Not negative, man. One of them was against Colorado, against Baltimore, and against Arizona. This is a team that can strike out a lot, okay? To talk about the Milwaukee Brewers. We're taking a look at them, man. They're still at the top of the league. 4th in the league in K rate, 24.3%. Of course, that 207 ISO is scary. A 328 WOBA here for them. But it's just something about, Chad Kuhl in this spot at 4.7 that kind of makes me want to get behind him, man. And if he can give me 15 points at 4.7, that's love. That's just like having a good bet. That's a batter price. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be taking a look at that most definitely. And where I'm not doing that, I'm definitely going to be playing some Milwaukee bats against them, living that hedge life. The next game we got San Diego Padres and the Chicago Cubs. We got Mike Montgomery here at 5.5, Julius Chassin at 7K, 11 and 11, 2 games of 11, and it's only 2 starts to the season. Talking about Mike Montgomery, he's another guy that deserves consideration from me because, the San Diego Padres are the San Diego Padres, man. They're just not a very great team. They're leading in the league in K rate, 26.8%. 207 ISO does scare me with a 338 WOBA. Ever since they made those subtle changes to the team, they have looked a little bit different. Chassin does, he's a decent pitcher. Chassin is a decent pitcher. 7K, had 20, 24, 16, and 9 in his last 4 starts. That was against Cincinnati, Kansas City when they were hitting the ball pretty well, and Colorado at home. So, Chassin nah, I can't do it. I can't do it because I'm going to like some Cubs tomorrow. But this game does have a chance of delaying or rain out. 18% chance of moderate rain here. 70 degrees is going to be the temperature with a 66% humidity and 10-mile-per-hour wind rolling out towards center field in Wrigley. Next game we got is the Toronto Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers. We got Francisco Liriano and Nick Martinez, who had a fairly decent game last time out, 25.5 DraftKings points. I mean, you get this guy this cheap, man, under 7K, a guy that is really good, man. Liriano's he's a good pitcher. He's still a good pitcher. I'm going to give him some consideration because I know that the Rangers are a team that struggles against left-handed pitching. So I will like some Liriano here tomorrow. Nick Martinez, not a guy that I love. I think they can really take advantage of him in this price. The Toronto Blue Jays, that is, can really take advantage of him here, man. We've got 11-mile-per-hour wind floating out toward right field. I'm going to be all over Toronto as well as Francisco Liriano. Next game we got is the Chicago White Sox and the Minnesota Twins. Yo, Edmund Neves, where you at, homie? Let me know what you think. We got Derek Holland here at 5.6. Urban Santana at 10.4. I'm going to say it right now. I do like Urban Santana. I think he has the ability in this spot to be that swing pitcher on the slate. He has the ability to be that pivot pitcher on the slate. A guy that, if you're not playing Urban Santana, what that is saying is that you do like some of the Chicago White Sox bats. And I'm going to open them guys up, man, because they've been pretty decent lately. 14th in the league in K rate, which is very respectable, 21.9%. 160 ISO here, so they're not hitting for a ton of extra bases, but that 336 WOBA does imply that this is a team that can get on base, and when they get on base, they can score some runs. Also, if you don't like Santana in this spot, I can definitely see playing some of those. Evan Neves, the White Sox enthusiast, says he does not like the Sox here, so that's going to just shore up what I initially thought is that Urban Santana can be a very solid play at 10.4. If you don't want to pay up for Chris Sale, he's a guy that you can most assuredly use. Next game we got is the Chris Sale game. We've got Sale's at 3.2, Matt Strom at 5K. Taking a look at Sale here. Normally, people are going to tell you, oh, this dude is an auto play. He's a lock. And I didn't play him the last time out. I didn't. I completely faded him. And it didn't really kill me, but he did score 35.5 points. And he was priced at 14.1. We're going to get a little bit of a cheaper price on him in this spot. But against Kansas City, who has been very hot lately. Kansas City has been very good lately. They've been playing well. The one thing is the strength of the Kansas City bats are guys like Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, those guys that can really hit for power, especially, and they do well. They are righty mashers. But that's not what we're going to be seeing here, man. We're going to see a left-handed Chris Sale go at the Kansas City Royals here in this spot, and I kind of like him. I think he's a guy that's definitely in play for me. Now, if I get the salary cap to pay for him, that's going to remain to be seen, but I do think he's a pretty decent play. Yeah, Strom had a decent one as well. Strom had a decent game as well, 18.85 points. He was priced down to 4.7. He's up to 5K now. That's not that huge of a difference. If you think that the Bo Sox can shit the bed again, and remember, I think the last time we played Sale, you could have played the pitcher that it was against Philadelphia. You could have played the opposing team's pitcher. Like, you can play Sale and Strom, look at the game to not score a ton of runs, and if you're lucky, Chris Sale can get 12 Ks and lose the game 1-0, and Matt Strom pitched 5 2/3 innings, got 5 strikeouts and no earned runs and a win. Like, it could happen that way. So take a look at Strom as well. Anytime a guy is that cheap and he's playing against the most expensive pitcher on the slate, that's something that you can look at, playing both pitchers in some spots, which will still get you those bats that you needed. Next game we got is going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies. This game is a riddle wrapped in an enigma, shrouded by questions and uncertainty. We do not know what is going to happen. There are a few facts that we do have to take with us. Number one, the biggest, most single fact in this game. When we look at the DFS industry, everyone is designed and fixed to believe that if there's a Coarse play on the slate, you got to play all the bats in Coarse. Normally, it shifts right over to the Colorado bats, but here with the Arizona Diamondbacks, we have a team that can score a ton of runs at a moment's notice. Also, we've got a team in the Arizona Diamondbacks whose splits are damn near cut in half. away from home. But you got this hitter-friendly park where the ball can travel, and it's 95 degrees in Colorado. So there are so many things wrapped around this game, not to mention both pitchers in the game are fairly decent. One of them is a bona fide stud up to this point. The other has been pretty good. So you're going to get Greinke at what I think is the lowest price we've seen him in the last 15 games. 86. Well, yeah. The last time he was this low was against Cleveland. Okay? And he had 26 points. So what we're seeing is this guy is really, really good on the road, man. 30 points. Excuse me, really, really good at home. He's really, really good at home. But he is on the road in this spot. So this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one, man. We got German Marquez at 6K here. And another thing they tell you is you can't play a pitcher in Coarse. Well, look at German Marquez at home. His first start against Washington wasn't very good at all. Okay? Then you fast forward to the 4-point start against Arizona, the same team he's playing tomorrow or today. At home against Chicago, killed him for 35. At home against St. Louis, 17. So in his three out of 4 home starts, he's had 2 good ones and 2 bad ones. Okay? The total in this game right now is 11. Then there's that. Then there's the Coarse letdown when you have a 5-2 game at Coarse. So there's so many different ways to approach this, okay? And an 11-run total, I'm gonna make some lineups where I'm stacking Arizona, where I'm stacking Colorado, and then where I'm playing Greinke and I'm playing Marquez. This game requires 4 lineups. This is one game. We got 5 if you count the game stack. Because this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be a tough one, man. And I think everybody's gonna flock to this game. Everybody's gonna flock to this game. There's gonna be some merit in fading. There is. This is gonna be a tough one, bro. It is. Next game we got is the Houston Astros and the Oakland Athletics. We got Francis Martes at 5.8, Sonny Gray at 6.9. Sonny Gray was really, really good a couple starts ago against the Tampa Bay Rays. Had his best start of the season was against Miami at home. Against the New York Yankees, he kind of held his own for a little while. Gave up some hits late in his start there that really ruined that one. But he was playing very well. Actually, I think the Yankees actually lost that game. Oakland beat them in that game. So now they get another home showing. They get the Houston Astros here. Francis Martes at 5.8. Had 23.65 in his last start. I hate, I'm starting to not like to attack the Oakland A's at home, man, because, their home road splits are just so out there. Like, they play so much better at home than they do on the road. But let's take a look at where they sit as far as K rate. I think they're still among the top teams in the league. Yes, 25% K rate. That's 3rd worst in the league. 177 ISO with a 331 WOBA over the last 14 days. We know what the Astros can do. They are fairly disciplined at the plate. A league best 16.2% K rate, a very high ISO at 201 with a 357 WOBA. So that makes Sonny Gray attackable in this spot, even though I don't want to. And it also makes Francis Martes playable at 5.8 because, he should be in line to get the win. So that is something to be considerate of. Francis Martes here, no Sonny Gray for me. Next game we got on the slate is going to be the New York Mets and the LA Dodgers. We got Robert Gesselman here, who I do not want to play, even though he is 5.7. That's a very fair price, but I still cannot play him in this spot. We know what the Dodgers can do against right-handed pitching. We've seen Cody Bellinger go completely apeshit. He's priced at 5.2. This dude can't hit a jack tomorrow. I mean, he hit 2 yesterday. He can't hit 1 today. But he might. He probably will. I mean, dude is nuts, man. Dude is nuts. You got Chase Utley is still swinging a good stick. Brandon McCarthy here at 6.4. 7, 16, 12, 27, 23 in his last 5 starts. Not a lot to love about McCarthy here. Just because we know what the Mets do when they're away from home. The team is kind of banged up a little bit, but they play much better on the road than they do at home. It's tough. It's going to be a tough one, man. I do like some of those Mets bats. Will not have interest in any of the pitching on this side. And, of course, I do like some of those Dodger bats, too. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the line drive at 5. Last game on the slate is going to be Jordan Zimmermann for the Detroit Tigers at 5.9, and Ariel Miranda at 6.1. Miranda is kind of interesting at 6.1, -6 in his last start, but he did have a couple of good games so far this year, man. One was that against Tampa Bay, 39.75 here, and he tends to do well against teams that strike out a lot. Well, unfortunately, the Detroit Tigers are not one of those teams. They are 11th in the league in K rate, 22.2%, 150 ISO with a 323 WOBA. So that's really gonna put me off of. Oh yes. So Seager has been bad, bro. And every time I hear the debate whether Seager or Trey Turner, anytime I hear the debate and it gets like to its peak, like its highest, like people are like mad as shit talking about how much better Seager is than Trey Turner. Trey Turner goes out and like swipes 3 or 4 bags and just lays back. It's crazy. It's crazy. So Miranda here, you're gonna see a lot of righty power, man, with Detroit Tigers. So I think it is a day to stack the Tigers. I really do. I think it's gonna be a day to stack the Tigers. No Jordan Zimmerman for me in this spot. I will like some of the power lefties from the Seattle Mariners, but I do think it's the Detroit Tigers day to get it in. I like the 9-run total. Love the spot for the Tigers here. I think they can, runs can be scored against them. They're going to swing the stick differently with runs being scored. It's going to be pretty much, I think, a high-scoring game. I would bet that it exceeds this 9-run total. So, I didn't pick a lot of pitching prospects because I want to get a little bit tighter on my pitching, man. I really want to get a little bit tighter on my pitching. These are guys that are going to be in my initial pool going into tomorrow. We've got Chris Sale, Urban Santana, Zach Greinke, Julio Teheran, who was it? Martes here, Matt Strom, and German Marquez. That's my pitching pool. That's my pitching player pool. Okay. Dodger Seager. Yeah. Dodger Seager. Yeah. And haven't you heard the arguments whether who's the better shortstop or who the better young shortstop? Is it is it Corey Seager or Trey Turner? And I swear, bro, every time the pods be fussing, the two dudes be fussing about it, and they talk about how much better, how bad Trey Turner is in comparison to Corey Seager. Trey just goes out there and swipes 3 or 4 bags and scores 40, 30 points, and it's and they talk about how they never play him and all that shit. Trey Turner is good, man. He is good. He is good, and so is Corey Seager. But I like Trey Turner better. I just do. All right, so these are the pitching prospects for today. We got Chris Sale, Pineda, Urban Santana, of course, at the top. In the mid-tier, the guys I like the most are going to be Teheran and Zach Greinke, followed by a little bit of Alex Cobb. For my cheapies, I'm going to start with Francisco Liriano, German Marquez, and Francis Martes is the cheapest guy. Oh, excuse me, Matt Strom, of course, at 5K is the cheapest guy that I think I can pay for. And I did say I like Chad Kuhl a little bit, too. Let's take a look at him, right? So, of course, thank you all, man, for rocking with me, man. Had a really good weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Meet me here in the Line Drive at 5, man. And if you're not subscribed to the DFS Sweatshop, man, go to the website. It's www.dfssweatshop.com. That's where you'll be allowed entrance into the best Facebook group online, where we can chop up plays, and if you teach you how to become a profitable player, and also what we like to do, man, is get into, it's DFS is so much more than just plays. You know what I'm saying? It's so much more than just plays. And what I like to do is you gotta have the gambler's mentality, okay? And what better way to use the gambler's mentality than to go out and find out what the public is thinking, what the bets are. That's why if you wonder why every day I put the tweet out on Twitter, because I want to know what people are thinking. Because if I know what you're thinking, I know I can play my hand better. If I know what cards you have, I can play my hand a little bit better. And that's what we try to do in the sweatshop. So, I hope you all had a profitable Monday. Remember, Mondays get crazy. I hope you didn't lose your bankroll and go ape shit. But meet me in here in the Line Drive at 5. We're going to break down all of those plays. Also go through our stacks. Hammer down our pitching. I want you to get that together first. And meet me in here, and we can chop it up. So this has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. If you're on FanDuel, keep it 250. If you're on DraftKings, keep it 200. one thing I want you to do is keep it 300. Peace.